Chloe, welcome to One Life Club.
Thank you.
We just had a brief conversation before this interview started, and I must say that I love your energy. You're only 23 years old. You're doing so much, and I feel like you're the person that has no fear, that just says, you know what, stuff it, I'm gonna go for it, and I'm gonna conquer this thing called life. Who is Chloe?
So I am Chloe, I am 23. As you said, I think I've been a risk taker my whole life. Even as like a really little girl, I've had a very large and vivacious personality. And so for me, I have always wanted to lead a big life. And so every choice I've made my entire life has been to what can I do to expand myself and to expand other people. Yes. So that's how I've started my business. That's how I lead my family, lead my partner. So that's me.
And I feel like at a very young age, you probably do understand very clearly that you only have one life.
Absolutely.
I think many people, they kind of make mistake not realizing, I guess, that, you know what, life is very short and we are here only for a short period of time before we're dead again. Yeah. And I think a lot of people think they're going to be here forever like dinosaurs, so they're not really utilizing their time. No. You're 23 and you're trying to move ahead with time. At the moment you live on the Gold Coast, yes, but you're not originally from there. No. You just told me a quick story how you left your home.
Yeah, so I graduated school at 18 years old. I went on a solo trip to Europe by myself, and after I saw the world, I was like, there is so many other things that I need to go and do with my life, and I don't really know exactly what, forced me to move, but I came home, I was home for 5 days. I said to my mum, I'm leaving, packed everything I owned in my tiny little car, and I drove to Queensland, and I've been here ever since, so 5-6 years.
Tell me the business you're running right now.
Yep, so I own two. I own an online personal training company, so that runs itself, which is fantastic. And then I also own like a business mentoring company. So I help other women build businesses online as well.
Yes, and obviously you having existing business yourself, so you have experience what it is to actually run a business, take the risk, make mistakes, have a cash flow, and then utilizing the knowledge you have created there with your own business. Yes. So, looking back now at very young age, was it a big decision for you to make to go, I'm starting my own business instead of I'm going to work for somebody else?
Yes, and when I think about it now, I'm like, I think I was crazy a little bit. I saw every single person in my life that was an adult stay in a job that they didn't like. It was always a hassle to go to work. It was always financially stressful. Everyone was always tired and only ever looked forward to Saturday, Sunday. And when I saw that, I was like, I do not want that for me. So it was actually easier for me. And I actually started my business in COVID as well. And I was like, I need to do that or I'm going to end up like everybody else in my life.
And your business, your personal training business, that's online?
Yes.
And you still run it yourself?
No, I actually don't run it anymore. I have people that run it for me.
Tell me about that business.
Yeah, so we originally started, I used to work in group fitness. I used to just teach group fitness classes. And then I had a lot of people start to DM me on Instagram, will you train me? And I thought, I've got so many people here that I couldn't train in one day. What would it look like for me to move online? So I used to literally use a Facebook group. And now it's transitioned to, we have multiple platforms that we use, training plans, nutrition plans. We have coaches that work for me as well. And honestly, it does amazingly. I'm very grateful.
So what was the hardest thing by starting your own business?
Nobody assuming it was a good idea. Nobody really believing in me. They're like, oh, that's nice. That's a nice little hobby. You'll get a real job one day. And I think for me, I believed so much in myself.
And you didn't let noise push you away from it.
No, and I still have noise now. We talked about it earlier. There's still so much noise, but I really do have 110% belief in myself that I can make things work. And I always have.
Yes. And one thing that I have noticed, you have really taken full advantage of social media. Yes. How important part was that for growing your business?
I think it was one of the most important parts because I talk a lot about personal brand and having a personal brand. And so me being myself online has been used to leverage my own business. I can have customers, people are immediately attracted to me. I can move person here, it creates money, it's amazing. So I think people don't utilize social media anymore when we don't have to pay for ads anymore. You don't have to pay for an article in a newspaper or a magazine. You literally can use social media. And I think people don't use it enough.
One thing is when I was interviewing Roxy Jasenko, and one thing that we were talking about PR agency, and she said that every person is a PR agent now because we all have access, our voice can be heard.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Specifically if you're working heavily, which you are, on building your personal brand, then more people will be there to actually watch you. So we are all PR agents, really, with our own platforms that we have.
Yeah.
Now, over the last 5 years, when did you start your business?
2020, so 3 years.
3 years ago. So over 3 years' time, was it hard decision for you to move your business from physical to online?
No, it was easier. I think it scared me because I had no evidence that it would work. Because obviously in line, I had the clients that always came in. I knew that they trusted me. So, and again, this is where people go wrong. I didn't have a big following on social media. I think I had like 3,000 followers, which is nothing these days. So at the time it was scary. However, I just was like, I want to do this and I'm just going to try. And honestly, I've never looked back. And once I did it, it did so well from the beginning that I was like, I can't believe I didn't do this sooner.
Yes. Which is interesting, the way the world, I believe, has changed over the last 3 years as well, because a lot of things, they were not kind of acceptable before, but now people, one, want to work from home, and two, people want to train from home, because, you know, you can be in your own home and watch one of your trainers and not move anywhere to actually still do your own exercise.
And they can have access to someone that they wouldn't get in person, and they can go to their own gym and do it themselves. So,
where does this crazy energy come from?
You know what, people ask me it all the time. I was born with it. I don't need coffee, I don't need anything other than I think I'm just really excited about my life. And I've had many opportunities to probably dim my energy because people, we talked about it earlier, people either criticize me for it or they love it. And I have a really good way of getting under people's skin with it because it often reflects to them their lack of confidence or their own insecurity. So for me, I just love life. And I don't see one point in pretending that I don't.
Yes. And I think it's good as well because good energy, you know, can rub off on people. Will just, I'm the kind of person that if I'm talking to somebody who's full of energy and full of life, I feel like it's the fuel for me to be better straight away. But you're definitely correct. If you're an insecure person, then you could be a threat to their own insecurities for them to actually do better tomorrow. What are the 3 key lessons you have learned in a short period of time running your business?
I think the biggest thing for me is that living true to my values has helped me both in my personal life, which has made me a better business owner. So 2 of my biggest values, and I talk about them all the time, are integrity and authenticity. And the more that I've lent into actually being the person that I say I'm going to be, taking risks, leaning into that and being my authentic self, the more that my business has grown, my revenue has grown, and I've just grown into a better person, which I think when you build a personal brand and a business that's based off you, it allows you to just live your life that way and you can create revenue off it. So that's a really big one. Always being the small fish in the room is another one. So getting myself in rooms with people that know far better than me, that are doing more than me. And I think not being afraid to ask questions is another really big one. People go in and think that they have to know everything. I'm not afraid to put my hand up and ask a question. And I think that's really helped me as well.
I think, you know, the day that you feel that you know everything is the day, you know, you should stop freaking living, if you ask me. Because there's so much out there to learn and to make yourself better and happier as well. Now, I always say that growing any business, you're going to have so many people that will be supporting you, which is fantastic. People that want you to do well. But then there's another side. There will be people that will say, hey, Chloe, you're crazy. You know, you shouldn't do this. You're never going to make it. They're going to offend you. They're going to hate you. How do you deal with that? Because how do you deal with negativity? That's one. And 2, I'm assuming your answer is going to be very easy because you're a strong character and you can brush that off in 2 seconds. But not everybody else is. Some people do get affected by what somebody will tell them. And it might take them a long time to get out of it mentally. So what advice will you actually have for people that do get affected? How to deal with it?
I would just say I would never ever choose to take advice from someone who hasn't been in a position that I want to be in. And so at the start of it, it did hurt my feelings. And every now and again, it probably still does. If I get a hate comment, if someone sends me a DM, if someone in my family doesn't agree with what I'm doing, like I'm a human, so of course it hurts. But to me, the negativities only ever come from people who aren't doing anything that I want to do. And so for me, I think over time, I've actually just gotten used to it, and it's built my character as a human being over time. And so one, allowing it to sting a little bit and understanding that I am a human being, but then two, then going, okay, does this change the trajectory of my life? Does this change where my business or I want to go? Well, no. So I'm still going to do it, and I still show up anyway. And so, yeah, it's a time thing, I think, as well.
It's so many things are coming to my head as well. One thing that, you are running at a very young age, great business yourself, 2 different businesses, and you're still constantly hunting for knowledge, hunting to network as well, because, we, One Life Club had a big event on the Gold Coast, and you still went there.
Absolutely.
So how important in your mind is to be a person that is constantly hunting for knowledge instead of being that person who thinks I know it all?
Yeah. It's like the utmost importance, and I think it's your responsibility as a business owner or someone that's going to be a leader. So I've had a mentor since I was 19, and I will have a mentor probably for the rest of my life, because it's so important, I think, to be guided, but also to be called out when you're doing things that maybe aren't serving you and things like that. So to me, it's one of the things that I will always invest my time and money into, because it's why I'm in the position I'm in as well.
I think the biggest mentor you have is you yourself. A lot of people ask me, Emil, who is your mentor in your business? I always say, look, my mentor is, first of all, is myself, because I am the person that is allowing myself to learn, because, you can have 100 mentors, but if you're not willing to learn anything, it's all irrelevant. And two, every person I meet every single day is my mentor, because I can learn something from you, from gentlemen behind that camera, or whoever I'm meeting every single day, good and bad person. And then I can always take everything, bits and pieces from people that I meet to complement my character. One thing that you said, and I think I sent you a comment, you were talking about being authentic. And I wrote you a DM and I said, I agree. How important it is to be authentic, because there's so much noise out there, and a lot of people want to be like you or like me or like somebody else. In my mind, I always say you can learn from those people, but you want to be you. Because you can never be me and I can never be you, and we can't be somebody else out there. How important is to be you?
Yeah. It's so important. I think, as you said, it's so much harder now because we have access to so much online. So it's very easy to go, well, if I just try this and I just do that and I try and be like this person, we assume then if we do that it's going to work the exact same way. And the thing is, it works for that person because they're themselves. And so I think it can be hard, because if you are being yourself and people don't like it or people criticize it, straight away you want to go and change it. But for me, the most change I've ever had in my life is from choosing to be myself and to be unapologetic about it. So I think a lot of people, like a lot of work can be done, especially for entrepreneurs or business owners, in actually learning to like yourself. And learn about yourself and be clear on who you are, because then you can actually make choices that are going to benefit you and your life and your business.
If you don't love yourself, nobody else will either. So it's very crucial.
Yeah.
What is the hardest thing about running your own business?
I think sometimes I put a lot of expectation on myself, and I think, and having to remove that. And I also think trying also not to do everything all the time. I would just love to have my foot on the gas pedal 110%. And sometimes in order to go forwards, you actually need to take your foot off, look at everything from a bird's eye view. So I think for me, it's actually about pulling back rather than going like full steam ahead.
Interesting you say. Till about a couple of years ago, I felt that I was a rugby player or soccer player in the middle of the field. And normally, if you're a rugby player, you're just running. You're just running like a madman or mad woman. You're passing the ball, you're running forward, back. You're just running, and you can only see so much in front of you. And the day that I distanced myself from the business in a way where I'm thinking like a coach, so okay, let me step back for a minute and be a coach of my own team. And that's where I can see where my team is at, what they're doing. If this person is good in that position, should they be moved out or should they be moved to another position? Till that day, when I realized how important it is to step back, that's when my business really took another step moving forward. I guess it gives you time to think and breathe as well. How important is for you to spend time on yourself?
Oh, it's one of the most important things that I do in my own life. I think I am quite lucky. I have always been very confident in my own energy. So I think for people that aren't, it can be hard. But the only time that we really sit down and reflect and think is when we are completely by ourselves. So for me and for a lot of people that are busy, all I recommend is like block time out in your calendar like it's a meeting to spend time on your own. So it's like an appointment, and whether you literally sit in the car, sit at the beach, do whatever you need to do. But for me, like anytime that it's my time, absolutely. And that's like no phones, no TV, no distractions, like just by myself. So yeah, it's so important.
Which is really interesting because we are all guilty of being addicted to our phones.
It's easy to be.
Full stop. Full stop. Anybody that is your age, when they are looking at you, looks easy. Is it easy to do what you do?
I want to say yes, but no. I am not afraid of hard work. So to me, I like again, I don't work 14, 15-hour days anymore, but if you asked me to tomorrow to get back to the position I'm in now, I would say yes. You know, I worked full-time for somebody else while I worked full-time on my own, and I did that for like 2-3 years. So I am not afraid of hard work. I think, yes, the internet can make things look easy, and I think it's easy when you decide that it gets to be easy, that this is a choice you're going to make for yourself and for your future. And I think it's simple. It's not easy. It's probably the way that I would put it.
Yes. What's next 5 years looking for you?
Oh, do you know what? I almost want to say I don't know, purely because if you'd told me 5 years ago that I would be in the position that I'm in now, I would say, no, I'm not. Like, no way. So to me, I definitely will have another 2 businesses, I think. I just intuitively know that I am someone that I can multitask, I can do a lot, and I really enjoy being a leader. So definitely having a bigger team. My partner and I will probably have a business together as well. I need to buy my mum a house, so that's something that I'll do. And then lots of travel, actually, as well.
Yes. Travel is healthy. I just came back from Europe. Every year I take 10 to 15 of my team members to different countries as well. But I'm still recovering from being jet lagged.
Yeah.
I guess Europe is so far away. A lot of people are in 20s or similar age to you. They want to start a business, and from this distance it looks easy because they might see people like yourself. You're full of energy. They can see you're smiling, you're happy, you're running your own business. They must see guys like me or ladies drive crazy cars, and they all want it today.
Yes.
So their expectation is so freaking high, and I always tell them, guys, maybe just be ready for a bit of a disappointment because it might not happen overnight. What is one advice you would have for somebody that's going to start business tomorrow? Somebody who is very similar age to you, who says, hey, stuff it, I'm going to start something today. What would you say is ahead of them?
Yeah, I would say, one, you need to work on your emotional resilience of people rejecting you, people saying no, things not working out, because as you said, people just assume it's going to work out straight away, and it doesn't. So to me, working on emotional intelligence is really important. But the other thing is not relying on instant gratification. People make money straight away and they want to spend it. And the thing that I say to everyone is every cent that came into my business, probably even still to this day, I funnel it straight back in because I'm thinking long term, and people don't think long term anymore. They want the likes, they want the cash, they want the clients, whatever it may be. And so you really need to practice, I think, saying no to things now, and so you can have it later.
Yes, absolutely. And I think a lot of people, they feel like they need to spend money on themselves, so they need to buy cars to fit into society today, which is very wrong because they're not thinking about long term of the business. There's something recently that I have learned that I didn't know, that oldest company in Japan is 500 years old.
Wow.
Japan has over 50,000 businesses that are over 100 years old, which is really fascinating. And then I started asking myself, why is that? Why do they have business, like their short term is like 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
The long term is 300 years. And I started asking myself, why is that? So what they do in Japan, thinking long term, how they create businesses.
Yes.
They would, let's say if I create a business, I will create a business that's going to last forever, because when my kids are 18 or 20 years old, I want them to work in the business. Now think about this. When was the last time you saw your mom?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
And time before that?
Yeah, a couple of weeks before that. I try and see her.
Exactly, right? You don't have any kids now, correct?
No.
But one day when you have your kids, you kind of want to spend all your life with them, right? I don't have any kids either, but when you have them, so what they do, they create a family place where when the kids even grow, they're going to spend every minute with them. So they don't see them like me or you every couple of weeks' time. So that's why, which is fascinating to me, they create businesses that are lasting that long, that the kids can work in it, grandkids, so they're all spending time together as a family, which is something that is really fascinating to me as well. You know, I don't have kids, but I have a nephew and nieces, and it makes me think that, you know, I want to create, well, I've been creating something for over 20 years that's going to last for generations, and really open my mind to think about the timing, because these days, for every new entrepreneur, they want to have everything today. They want to be in my shoes or your shoes today. They don't see that, you know what, it's okay if it takes you 3 years or 20 years. As long as you keep moving forward with everything that you're doing, eventually you get there, if you see yourself that you're ever there. Do you think you're there?
Oh, I think I've always approached everything knowing that it was a long-term game. So for me, like, I look at 3 years, I know I'm still a baby. I know I've still got so long to go. So I think for me, it's very easy to look at it long-term, because I'm like, no, I've got so much time. There's so much to learn. And I've never gone in with it an expectation. And I think that's the difference. I have very high standards for myself, and I work very, very hard. But for me, it was never, I'm gonna have this, this, and this. It was just, I'm doing what I love. And I think that's why I'm able to be in the position I am now.
What is the biggest mistake you made in business?
Not having enough like back-end systems. I assumed everything would be fine. So there was a day, and I could tell the story, I made 10 grand in one day out of a Facebook page, and it was the first time I'd ever made any real money. I literally thought I was a millionaire that day. I was like, I'm gonna be rich forever. And I had nothing to service all these people with. I didn't expect, and I didn't think for the future, and I think people go in, oh, I'll just work it out along the way. And I'm really, really big on going, okay, it's not broken now, but how can we try and elevate, and how can we try and fix it to plan for the future? And at the beginning, I didn't do that. So that being said, those people from way back when probably will never buy from me again, and I don't blame them either.
Yes, which is really good that you can actually see your mistakes as
absolutely.
well. One of the things, I've read a book that was written in 1989 by Donald Trump, and the book is called The Art of the Deal. Even Donald Trump is really out there. I actually recommend to anybody to read this book. And anyway, in this book there was a chapter, whole chapter was focused on planning for things that might go wrong. So Donald Trump, back in the day, he had a team of people, and they were focused on just working out solutions for potential problems they're going to have down the track. So if that problem does come, the systems is in place to actually get out of the shit that he's in on the spot as well. I think life is a beautiful learning curve. You were not born knowing everything, or me, or anybody else, but as long as you have will to keep learning, and as long as you have a stomach to actually chew all the shit that you get yourself into, you'll be okay. Is business for everybody?
No, absolutely not. Because as you said, some people can't look at failure and look at mistakes and go, that's okay, I can learn from it, I'm gonna keep going. And that's okay. Not everybody can be an entrepreneur, not everyone can be a business owner. So I think it does take a special kind of person.
What is the best thing you enjoy about running your own show?
Being the boss, making all the decisions, doing what I want. I also think the financial freedom. I can take care of my family. I can make the choices that I want to make. I can do the things that I want to do. But also, I just love helping people. So for me, that's where my heart lies too.
I must say that your energy is unbelievable. I think we're going to do a lot more things in this space with you, Chloe. And I look forward to the class as well. But thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Today.